Hello everyone, this is Alina with you, and today we're going to work with feet like these. At first glance, these look like regular feet, but actually the story here is very interesting, and it will all end with the installation of a correction system. But let's start by taking a look at the condition of the nail plates. And now I'm showing with a curette that the corner goes very deep into the skin. Because this corner goes deep into the skin, it constantly rubs against it. And as we know, the skin is quite a smart organ. In fact, it's the largest one. The skin starts to react to this with ordinary calluses. In this case, these are the very periungual or subungual calluses, whatever you want to call them. Basically, it's a buildup of dry skin that doesn't go anywhere. It just keeps accumulating there. And as a result, of course, the client will feel very uncomfortable. And today, that's exactly what we're going to work on together. To start, I'll work on these feet. And right now, I'm trimming the length. The nails here are quite thick, so I took a file for artificial nails. And right now, I'm showing the treatment on the middle toe. Oh, sorry, on the second one. The middle one will be done too, by the way. So I've already pushed back the cuticle using an anatomical pusher. I think I showed the picture. And now I move on to working with the drill bit. To make sure the drill bits work well, I always use talc. When I work on pedicures, most often it's sweat stop talc. I have a drill bit like this with a slightly unusual shape. It's not a flame, but it has a sharp tip, and at the same time it has a rather wide belly. And as you can see, with just this one drill bit, I can handle a pretty difficult toe. And here I'm using a technique of gradual opening. So I go over it with the drill bit, brush off the dust, open up the cuticle, go over it with the drill bit again, brush off the dust again, and I open up the cuticle more and more each time. I intentionally left all my movements here so you don't think that a pedicure is just done in a snap. Very often in videos they show just two moves, like quick and everything is clean, but in reality most of the time it actually looks like this. Because when you're working with really difficult feet or even just regular feet, it takes a lot more movements than the quick 1-2 you see in typical short videos. And here we have long form content. It's horizontal, so it's best to watch it on VK Video, YouTube, or wherever is convenient for you, so you can see everything in detail. And of course, for those people who just enjoy long videos, who love the digging, and for those who want to understand exactly what's happening with their feet, here I've already moved on to working on the middle toe, and again I'm showing with the curette that the edge of the nail is really rubbing against the skin. And again, it's exactly the same situation here. There's a lot of skin, it's dry, and it causes unpleasant pressure and sensations. For those who just noticed the middle toe, let me say right away that it's just the hyponychium sticking out. That's normal, because here the client trimmed her nails herself and cut them at an angle like this, which happens often, so her nail bed grew out. There's nothing wrong with that. She didn't feel any discomfort when I was filing, we just treated it and tried to make the nails even. Well, as much as it's technically possible in this situation, and again, I'm showing how the drill bit works. It does an amazing job, honestly. When I was editing, I watched it several times myself and thought, wow, it works so well, even though it's just a red band. Here I'm showing you the treatment done dry, meaning there won't be any keratolytics or softening agents, just working on dry skin. This technique is also valid. Every technique has a right to exist. The main thing is to do them correctly. And of course, besides the bit itself, you'll need a machine, and it's very important that the handpiece doesn't vibrate. I've worked with all kinds of machines. I had the cheapest ones from AliExpress, and back then even from eBay. You know, I think my first one cost about 1,500 rubles or something. It was pink. I think everyone had one like that, and it would practically rattle and jump every time. And I remember when I finally got my hands on a more or less decent proper machine, I realized what a good quality handpiece was, one that doesn't give you those unpleasant sensations, because honestly before that I thought using a machine was just not that great. So right now I'm using the SP130 machine, the medical grade one, and this particular machine that I work with, it's really mine. It's about 3 years old, I think. It's been with me since the record days. The SP130 brushless quiet motor, 50,000 RPM, and it's still in perfect condition. And, you know, I've done all sorts of experiments with it, nothing minor. It filed everything that moved, and if something didn't move, it made it move and filed it again. So I give this machine a big enthusiastic thumbs up. Now I've moved on to working on the thumb, and this is the most satisfying part. Let me explain why. There's also a periungual callus here, and it's really huge. It goes really deep inside into the skin, sinking into the fold. And cleaning it out is definitely a special kind of pleasure. And to mix up the content, I took this bit, which I think everyone is familiar with. This is a flame bit with a not very sharp tip with a red and blue band. The red and blue band is the one that's between red and blue. So it's a very, very medium grit and quite popular among many technicians. And this bit also does a great job. Although you could have used a fisher bit here, for example, or a needle bit like a blue one, and that would have been great too. But I can say that when the bit has such a large belly, like in the first or second option, it's actually quite versatile in terms of being able to treat the nail fold. So we've already cleaned it out, and now we're moving on to the picking tools again. Your favorite part. Here I have my favorite curette with a safe tip, and I'm studying the corner again. Because after cleaning, I have more opportunity to access that area in the nail fold. So with the curette, I realized that there's still something left in there. And all these actions that I'm doing in the video right now, they're similar to turning it inside out. So our goal is to slightly roll back the skin to get access to the corn that sinks in there inside. So it's something vaguely resembling a corn because the nail goes into the tissue, presses on it, and it becomes denser inside. The same thing is happening here by a similar principle. I've finished one side, now I'm moving on to the other side. As you can see, there's a lot of work to do. I should mention I didn't record treating the large callus on the big toe from shoes, nor did I record treating the soles. Because the goal was specifically to show you the correction system. There are some updates there. I got my hands on a product. Honestly, I didn't expect anything like this. So I'm showing you the treatment of the other side, that is the outer external nail fold, if I can put it that way. And here, of course, it might seem like I'm just randomly rotating the drill bit, but actually I'm always paying attention to the angle of the bit's entry. It's very important not to overfile anything. And now I'm showing straight cutting nippers. Straight cutting nippers in pedicure, in podology. These are probably the most, basically the curette and the straight cutting ones. These are the most important tools we use for work, because with these nippers we can either even out the wall that's digging in. Very often there are little corners. Or on the contrary, smooth it out even more. That's what I'm doing now. Before this I cleaned everything with the burrs. And now with the nippers I'm also tucking them inward, and I carefully leveled out the corner. I take the burr again, since I turned the skin out again, and I picked at it again, filed it again, and I need to even it all out again. That's the technique. Yes, it seems like it takes a long time, it seems like it might be difficult, but actually this is exactly the kind of treatment it takes. These are the kinds of complicated cleanups you have to do. For me, they're kind of like, I don't know, maybe meditation. And when you have everything set up, everything chosen, the tools are all clear, the materials you use are all sorted out. Actually, everything becomes really easy and clear. And the main thing is that you enjoy it. I'll show you a comparison result at the end. You'll see how the nail will open up, how it will change. Right away, on the very first day after the treatment, and it's important, by the way, to make collages like I did, to show your existing clients, or potential clients. So that, I think I got something on my teeth. Sorry. Yeah, that happens. There you go. I'm already recording, so it will stay that way. So it's very important to show your clients, both potential and existing ones, exactly what they can expect even after just one treatment. Well, besides the fact that they're going to feel great and everything will be very, very easy for them. So here we're already trimming the cuticle on the second toe. That's the one I treated first. And in this case, I'm using scissors, my absolute favorite ones. The ones with tips curved like a hook. This is the Japanese S04J model. Most people watching me already know about these scissors, but here they are in case anyone needs them. These are the very best hooks on our market, and at first when I saw these scissors I thought, why are they curved? But then I realized they're curved to fit along the sinuses, and to make it possible to neatly make the cut, and to open it. Right now I actually had it positioned in the sinus, they were lined up with the line, and you could see how well they fit in there. The only thing is, for example, on the big toe, when making a cut, a lot depends on the cuticle line, because for some people it's rounded, for others it's straight. It's very, very different for everyone. Let's move on to cutting the cuticle on the big toe. And as you can see, at first I went in at an angle, then I realized it wouldn't fit there because of the sharp turn. and it's impossible to get in there specifically, in this case with scissors, but that's absolutely not a problem. Because in a pedicure, I actually only cut off the really sticking out part of the cuticle, and then I either buff it or just leave it as is. Because the main thing in a pedicure is not to cause harm, not to make some kind of insta-perfect nails. So then, I used an antiseptic. I use antiseptic to check the cleanliness of the manicure and pedicure. It's also to remove all the extra dust. After making sure I was satisfied with everything, we moved to the most important part. Now I'm going to install a correction system. We're going to put in a titanium thread. This is probably the most popular correction system. But the thing is, I have something like this, a new product. It's a composite for the titanium thread from Z Color. It looks like the standard syringe we're all familiar with. I didn't put a special tip on it, because I usually use composites just like this. I squeeze it onto my glove and then take it with a curette. That's how Elena Porobova-Pishchenko, who you all probably know, taught me. So I'm already placing the titanium thread here, and probably you have a silent question in your minds about why I didn't prime it, and why I didn't prepare the surface of the nail plate here in any way. The thing is, this composite doesn't require any base. You only need standard mechanical preparation with a file, as I showed at the beginning. That is, I just scratched the surface of the nail, degreased it, and I'm ready for the application. And after placing one bead, I insert a titanium thread there. I cure it, attention, with a regular flashlight. No, it doesn't make any sound, so I cure it with a regular flashlight, the same one we use, I don't know, for building extensions on upper forms or gel tips. And after that, I finish curing it with our regular standard manicure and pedicure lamp. So now we have a composite that holds really well. It doesn't require any additional liquids, no super complicated preparations. Most importantly, it doesn't need that special lamp, which is usually expensive. You know, the dental ones with the little tips. And this model is still wearing it. It's already been 2 weeks. Everything's fine. Well, of course, I didn't just take this composite on a whim. Without rushing, I first gathered some feedback. I talked to the manufacturer, I spoke with their technicians, I looked at what kind of progress they have. And honestly, I was amazed by this. The fact that we no longer need any base or foundation there, and we just cure it with a lamp. So this really turns out to be such a great saving. And in today's reality, saving is never a bad thing. Well, and of course, its price isn't like that of dental composites. Now I'm showing you what the free edge looks like, what the nail looks like. Here are 2 little beads of composite. If the beads seem too big, well, if you've applied them and they look too large, you can always just carefully file them down. And to finish the procedure, as always, I'm showing you the oil. It may seem like these are such basic things, but so many clients don't know that we need oil to moisturize so that the skin stays elastic. And during the massage, blood flow increases, metabolic processes speed up, and of course nails grow much faster. Now I'm showing you the free edge, how our nail plate looks. I don't know if you've forgotten what was at the very beginning, and if someone didn't get a chance to see the composite, here it is. By the way, this is shade number 2. You see, it's kind of beige pink, so it's a camouflage shade. For those who have already forgotten the beginning. I also want to remind you how it looked before. I mean, the nail has clearly changed a lot. That's all from me for now. This was Elena Lavrentieva. Let me know in the comments what you think about this video. And of course, don't forget to write if you're looking forward to the next part. That's all from me. Bye-bye.